Hi, my name is Jean Bobish from A Stroke of Genius, and today I want to show you how to make this cute little pink Valentine heart wreath. And I'm not quite sure exactly how I'm going to finish it up just yet, so let me show you what I started out with and what supplies you'll need. The first thing is an 8-inch embroidery hoop, and that's going to be our basis and how we're going to hang our wreath. The next thing is we need 9 of these little wooden hearts. They're about 1/8 of an inch thick, and they measure, of course this one doesn't say, 3 by 2.5 inches. I believe they are. Yes, 3 by 2.5 inches. And like I said, you're going to need 9 of those. Then the next thing we're going to need is some pretty pink paint. So these are all Deco Art Americana acrylics, and we're going to be using Poodle Skirt Pink, Bubblegum Pink, Pink Chiffon, Snow White, which I have in a huge bottle because I use tons of it, and we may even use some of the Glamour Dust glitter paint to add a little bling to our wreath. And I have Celebration Pink and Ice Crystal. The other thing we may choose to use, which I haven't decided yet, is these cute cutout word, love. Now, you get it at the store. It's unfinished, of course. I've already painted mine Poodle Skirt Pink. Like I said, I'm not sure if we're going to use that or not yet. So I have that one all ready to go. So the first thing we want to do is we want to mix up some of our Poodle Skirt Pink and Bubblegum Pink. We're going to use 2 parts Poodle Skirt to 1 part Bubblegum, and we're going to mix it up really, really good here on our palette. And we're going to, well, first of all, we should seal all the pieces with the multi-purpose sealer. That's also from Deco Art. Seal all your pieces with that, which I've already done. Sand them with fine grit sandpaper, and then we're ready to paint. So the first thing we're going to paint, like I said, is our hearts. And they're going to be a mix of Poodle Skirt Pink plus Bubblegum, 2 parts Poodle Skirt, 1 part Bubblegum, and then we're just going to paint the hearts. All 9 of them. Make sure you do the sides. Get everything painted well. Okay? And I have one here that I already have done. So after you get them all painted, the thing we're going to do is we're going to take a 1/2-inch angle brush, if I can find one here, and with just the Poodle Skirt, we're going to float around the outside edge of our heart. And what I usually do is I do one side at a time. Pick up your paint, blend, blend, blend on your palette, and just go around. It's hard to see at first, but when it dries, it'll dry a little bit darker. Okay? And there I have one side shaded. There you can see a little better. Okay? Do all the one side, let them all dry, then you can come back and do the other side. You don't want to do it now because your brush will drag through that wet spot and make a mess. So do one side at a time and let them dry. Okay, now I have my little heart all shaded. You can see a little bit better now that the paint's dry, but you have a nice shade around the outside. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to dry brush a little highlight in the center of our heart. Now I have a little 1/2-inch dome stencil brush that I like to use, and I'm going to dip it into pink chiffon and tap it off on my palette, and I'm going to take a dry paper towel and I'm going to rub as much of the paint off as I can. Okay, and then I'm just going to start in the middle, very lightly just rub this on until I get a nice little highlight in the center. Okay, you're going to continue and do that with every one of your hearts. Alright, then you're going to set that aside. Now the next thing we're going to do is stencil a design on our hearts. You can stencil anything you want. I just happened to pick 3 stencils that I really like. This one is a template, and it has mini art words on it. I like that one. This is a Rebecca Bear stencil that I used. I like that design. You can see where I stenciled them. And this is one from Creative Arts Lifestyle, Patricia Rawlinson's website. And it's the, what's the name of this one? Inspirational Scrolls. Okay? And all you're going to do is stencil using the same brush. Okay? Just clean it out real good and white. And you're going to lay your stencil on top of your heart. I should have had this open. Okay, my little heart here. Okay, just lay it on. You're going to tap into your white paint, tap it off on your paper towel, and just stencil your little hearts until your stencil off, and you will end up with something that looks like that. Now, because there's 9 hearts on our wreath, what I did is I did 3 of each design. That's the Rebecca Bear stencil. This is the Creative Lifestyle stencil. And this is the Artword stencil. I just happened to like them and thought that they were kind of pretty. So, the other thing I did was I painted my hoop poodle skirt pink. Okay, so we don't want any ugly, yucky wood showing through. Now, the next thing I think I'm going to do with these is I think I'm going to add a little bit of bling. I want to be able to see the stencil through, so I believe I'm going to use the Ice Crystal Glamour Dust on the hearts. And I think I will use the Celebration Pink on the lettering. Okay, so to do that, all we're going to do is put some of this Ice Crystal on our palette, and you simply paint it on just like you would any other paint. Okay. And I like to put several coats because I like them really shiny and blingy. Okay, it's probably hard to see in the light. You get a glare, but anyway, it'll dry really nice, and this is full of glitter. So just paint, we're going to paint all our hearts with the Ice Crystal, and we're going to paint the lettering with the Celebration Pink. And then we'll come back. Okay, now that I have them all glittered up, I got at least 3 coats on each one. I'm laying them out on my hoop to see where I'm going to glue them. And the one thing I want to point out is you want to make sure that whatever heart you want at the top, that you have it lined up perfectly with the hardware on the hoop, because that's probably how you'll hang them. So I have them laid out just to get them in position, and I'm using this, I'm using tacky glue because the hot glue would probably put it in place immediately, and I want to be able to have a little wiggle room to make sure that I get them all in there just where I want them. So go ahead and glue them all down, get them positioned, glue them all down, and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, here we have our finished wreath. I've glued all my hearts on in alternating sequence by their design, glittered everything up, glued it all together, and I even added this pretty little, the 2 ribbons. I had a pink and kind of an iridescent glittery ribbon, and I glued them on the bottom for a little added something. So there you have it, a cute little Valentine's Day wreath. You can't stick it. It just sparkles so much you can't believe it. So I hope you enjoyed this little project. I will hopefully have the free written directions on my website, which is www.astrokeofgenius.com. And if you get a chance, stop by and check it out. I have lots of designs and patterns all ready for you to paint up. Okay, happy Valentine's Day.